morning we woke up at 4 a.m. and it was a rough wake-up call.
So we just finished our first leg of the road trip. How was it? You lived, right?
I didn't hear your question, but
Oh, how
zero-
was the first leg of
I got zero sleep last night because I got a sunburn in a tanning bed, and I tried to sleep.
This is, look at. It's pretty good, right?
That's pretty good.
I like it. I like the fact that there's no music.
Yeah, that's what really.
And it's just the sound of like chairs going like this. Nikki. Oh. How was it? She don't know what to do. She's not awake yet.
How did it? Ellie just tried to hug me and then you said my name, so I went.
You're not awake yet?
I'm awake-ish.
I don't believe you is the thing.
I'm gonna run some laps out there and eat my bagel and that'll be good.
Are you sure?
Maybe. I am in misery.
Angie, guess what I just submitted? The internship out, like I said.
I'm stoked. Oh my gosh.
Everything was going well until 6 p.m. when we started getting multiple thunderstorm, tornado, and hail warnings.
Look at those. What? Are you taking a video of this?
How are you doing?
Cramping.
Nope. I think I developed an allergy right now to that dead mouse.
It's gonna
Oh yeah, it's gonna be so loud.
real obnoxious.
Do it.
Yep. Oh,
Some snip snaps.
Simple.
Wait, can you get my feet real quick? Wait, let me zoom in on the feet. Oh, it goes slow.
Eventually it did look like the weather was going to get better, but as we started driving again, the sky got really bad, so we ended up calling it a night and booking a hotel. And thankfully we did, because it turns out 3 tornadoes touched down at once in Oklahoma City. To say this hotel was awful would be an understatement. Everything was broken, there was a pair of ripped up trousers in the trash can, and our pull-out bed was hard as a brick. We ended up making it to North Lake, Texas in the late morning and stayed with Angie and Nikki's Aunt Debbie and Uncle Bill. I love that Debbie had these little buckets with Spanish jokes and Bible verses. The rest of our group was already there, so we grabbed them and went to Lady Magnolia Tattoo.
For Kaylee. 75. This one's for you.
What
Are you ready? Whatever
You
number
are
it
that
falls on,
thing.
that you have to get that.
Aw, so
Do you like it?
On your temple.
What is it? Oh, temple.
I know this will come as a shock, but I did not get the tattoo on my temple, but the other girls did get the ones that they wanted.
Good morning. It is day 3 of the Texas trip. We are heading out here soon. Angie and I are going to go pick up a rental car. We have spent the entire trip in North Lake, Texas, which is like 30 to 40 minutes outside of Dallas. And we've driven in yesterday to go do the tattoos. I went in with 0 and I came out with 0. So for me, that's a success because everybody was very excited about getting these tattoos, and I just was happy to document and to have a step back. Today we're heading to Waco, so we have to get a rental car because there's 9 of us and we only have an 8-person van. And we're going to spend the majority of the day there, and then this afternoon we're going to check into an Airbnb in the Waco area, and then we'll head to the Becoming Something like conference or gathering. It's tonight and then tomorrow morning. So I don't really necessarily know what to expect from the conference. I'm very excited about it. So far everything has been going so well with the girls here and Logan, who's also on our trip. Everybody's getting along. I feel like everybody's encouraging one another. It's just been a really good time, and I feel like when you have 9 people at a house plus her aunt and uncle who live here, that's just a lot of potentially could be chaos, and it's been very calm. It's been very relaxing. I really want to take time and hype up her aunt. Her aunt, as one of the other girls in our group said yesterday, is definitely the definition of a Proverbs 31 woman. Someone who just is so hospitable. She cares for her home. She cares for the people who come into it. She is so influential of the people around her, and she also makes bomb food. If you ever traveled even to like family members' houses, you know, sometimes you feel like you're tiptoeing around, or you just don't know where anything is, or you don't know how to kind of like approach certain situations because it's not your house. And I feel like with her, I haven't felt that at all. I felt like extremely calm. I feel like I can go through and find stuff on my own. Even yesterday I spilled some tea and she was so relaxed about it, and we just cleaned it up and it wasn't a big deal. And she's just so good at hosting and making people feel comfortable. And she had talked about like potentially them doing an Airbnb here. I don't know if we're like the trial run for that, but I think she would do a great job if she actually did like a bed and breakfast type Airbnb, because I think she is part of the package that makes this home so enjoyable to be in versus just coming to like an empty house and being by yourself. I think she is kind of that addition. She reminds me a lot of this lady who hosted an Airbnb in Ireland that we stayed at in 2019. She and her husband had owned this house. I think it had been in her husband's family for like 300 years. And they made it into an Airbnb type situation. And she greeted us at the door the minute we got there. They were so personable with us. We were exchanging stories, and they would make food. They made such an incredible breakfast there in Ireland too. So I just think there's such a gift in hospitality and in being a good host and making people feel comfortable and just creating an atmosphere of your home. It's something I really look up to and something I hope to implement in my house in the future. But for now, I'm just learning from Debbie, seeing how she does it, and I'm just really blessed to be a part of this trip. It's really different than any trip I've ever been on. It's a lot of moving parts, a lot of people with a lot of expectations, and so far it's just going really smoothly, and we're already on day 3. The next 2 days I think are going to fly by, so I don't foresee myself checking in again until the end of the weekend, maybe like Sunday or Monday, because we have to basically do everything I mentioned for today, and then tomorrow we're going to do the second half of Becoming Something, and then we're dropping people off throughout tomorrow between different areas in Dallas or the airport, and then I think Sunday as well we are going to church and then dropping people off too. So that's all I have for now. I will check in with you in a little bit. Pray, pray, pray. Well, it'll be after the fact when you see this, but I'm just praying that no other chaos happens. You saw the hail, you saw the tornado warning, and then this morning we're, as I said, renting a car at like 1 o'clock this morning. The guy canceled our car. So we woke up at 7 and had to like scramble to find another one. So I'm just praying it continues. It looks like she confirmed it. It looked like she approved it. Hopefully it goes through, and hopefully we have no more chaos, because it's been a little bit of a chaotic beginning in terms of events, not with people, thankfully, but hopefully there's no more of that.
Seeing Magnolia in person was a really special experience. I've wanted to go for a long time, and it was awesome to do it with friends. I was especially excited about this church because they took it apart piece by piece and reconstructed it on the property. After Magnolia, we drove to our Airbnb, which was in the middle of nowhere, but it was absolutely breathtaking. We did come across a bidet problem, though.
Should I spray it?
Yeah.
Okay. Y'all ready to go?
For the vine. Do it for the vine.
We never did figure it out, but we did make it to the first day of becoming something, or as most people call it, BeSo. It's a podcast out of Harris Creek Church. They had clothing from Proclamation Coalition, photo booths. We saw the live podcast the first night. Then they also had food trucks, games, zip lines. You could ride a bull. It was a night of fun, but it was also definitely a night where we were overstimulated by the end. We woke up the next morning to a beautiful sunrise and did quiet times outside. Then we went to BeSo Live Day 2. Angie was highlighted in one of their promotional videos, and then we watched 2 episodes of BeSo Live, and we had praise and worship at the end. After BeSo Live, we returned our rental car and went back to Debbie and Bill's house. Then we had an Italian family dinner.
Good morning, happy Sunday. We are back at Debbie and Bill's house this morning, Angie's aunt and uncle, and everybody is just getting up and getting ready this morning. We're gonna head to church, and so I'm just sitting down to do makeup, and I thought I would talk about something that's been impactful to me throughout this trip. Before we keep going on the story that I haven't even started yet, let's talk about the elephant in the room. This is how I'm finding out that I'm allergic to a natural perfume. It's not from anything else. I literally just took my perfume, put it on my wrist, and put it here. And I guess this is how I'm finding out that we are not meshing. But that's never happened to my wrists. So the subject that I wanted to talk about today is something that I guess I don't want to say I've never heard somebody talk about, but maybe just I haven't heard them talk about it in the way that I would describe it or the way that I feel it. I've heard people talk about how they don't know what they're doing, or they don't know what to do next, or they feel stuck, or they feel behind, or, you know, they're kind of in a weird place in life where they're unsure of their next moves. But I've never heard somebody talk about it like second puberty. I kind of feel like that's what I'm in right now at 27 years old, is almost like a new season where I don't really know who I am. I don't really know what I like. I don't really know what I want. I don't really know where I'm going. And I feel like I'm experiencing this so quickly and so rapidly, it's hard to keep up. But I haven't really seen a lot of people talk about how there's kind of this season, at least I've experienced this, and my friends have experienced this as well, where we turn 25 and there's almost like this 5 years of like, what are you gonna do for the rest of your life? There's kind of this pre-puberty and teens of who will you become in your young adult life, and then there's almost like a middle puberty from 25 to 30 of like, who will you be in your real adult life, like fully adult existence. And for a few years now, I feel like I've been in this season of life where I haven't really been like the author of my own life and my own existence, which wouldn't be a big deal if I could sit and confidently say that I feel like God is writing it out for me. Like, that would be easier for me, because then it's not on my back, it's not my responsibility to really carry then. But I think I'm just in a season. It's not that God isn't faithful. It's that I've been like kind of jaded over the last couple years, and it's really affecting me in more ways than one. And I'm trying to work to get out of it. And I feel like other people come into situations and they have such astounding, incredible, like unshakable faith. And God keeps putting me in the midst of like 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds who are just starting out. They're all doing missions. They're doing all these crazy, amazing things. And it kind of puts me in a place of like more insecurity, just because I simply don't know what I'm doing and I don't really know where to go from here. And I had a very unexpected conversation with Angie's Aunt Debbie last night that was really such a blessing. I got to cry about a lot of things that I've been mourning in life, a lot of things I'm unsure of, I'm fearful of. And we had just a very long, uninterrupted couple of hours talk late into the night. And her wisdom was so valuable, and it was so needed and right on time. But I just felt like she kept hitting the nail on the head over and over and over again. At one point, she's like, I feel like you just need boldness. Like, you're crying out for boldness. You need more of it. Like, you're in a season of life where you're going to really need to not have fear. And obviously she had no idea my word for the year that I've been praying about is bold. And is being more bold, not only in the way that I share the gospel, but just decisions I make. Making decisions that are scary and that put me out of my comfort zone, obviously in a responsible way, but that will create impact in the long run in my life in a positive way, because I wasn't just going to sit in complacency longer than I already have. And I'll tell you what, don't pray for anything that you don't want to have happen in a major way, because I've never prayed for something and received it in a really minute, like discreet way from God. Basically everything that I've prayed for that puts me out of my comfort zone, God has done in a big way. Again, not in an appropriate way, but just, it's never slow and it's never unimpactful for the things I pray about, where I put myself out on the line with a prayer. But overall, our discussion was so helpful, and I feel like in the season that I'm in, where God keeps placing me with women who are younger than me, who I feel like are doing more than me, who make me question where I'm at in life and how strong my faith is. She was like, you're just viewing all of that so negatively, like they're just ahead of me and I'm behind, or they're stronger faith than me and I have less faith. And she's like, that's not what it is. You have more wisdom and you have more years and you've lived through more than some of these girls have lived through, and you can speak to things that they can't speak to, and it's actually like a teaching and a mentorship opportunity that you are missing really big chance for. And you need to basically like get in line with what God has for you, and you need to stop fighting what he has for you. And it was a kick in the butt that I needed, but it was so encouraging, and I'm so grateful I was able to have that talk. I feel like it was the first time in a long time God took someone and met me just where I needed to be met. And it wasn't anything where, you know, God made a big promise to me or Debbie, you know, proclaimed something big. It just was very simple. And it was talking through the season of life, and it was bringing clarity to it. And I'm so grateful for that. With that being said, we are heading to Watermark Church this morning, which I guess is going to be massive. I've never been there. I haven't looked it up. I have no clue what to expect. Everybody just keeps saying it's a huge church. It's so massive and it's beautiful. So we're going to go there. And then I know that we are going to UPPERROOM tonight, which is for praise and worship night. So again, I don't really know what to expect. I feel like a lot of this trip, I've just kind of gone with the flow, and I showed up somewhere and I went, okay, this is what we're doing. So that is what we're expected to do today. You guys will see what we end up doing, and I'll check in again later.
I ended up getting an impromptu haircut from Bridget. This was her inspiration, but thankfully she did not go through with it. That morning we went to Watermark Church, which is very beautiful, as I said, but also very large. It is the biggest church I've ever been inside of. A girl got baptized this morning, and this was the baptismal pool. This is just one wing of the entirety of this church, and this is the jungle gym for the children who go there. In the afternoon, we made a coffee stop at La La Land Kind Cafe, which you'll remember from my Dallas vlog last year. And then we made our way to Upper Room for the evening. Upper Room is very different. It's a much smaller venue, but the atmosphere also is very different than Watermark. Because our weekend was so busy, we spent most of Monday at Kimzey's Coffee. It reminded me a lot of The Hobbit in the way that the building is structured. And we couldn't possibly go to Texas without stopping at Justin's Discount Boots. I made a very life-changing decision this day, which I'm excited to tell you about in my next video. We took a night drive to celebrate, and of course it wouldn't be Dallas if there wasn't 10 p.m. traffic. We also took Tuesday slow. We ended up going to Barnes & Noble, and I found my new self-help book, and then Bridget quizzed me on which lightsaber I am.
You are a commander in a battle during the Clone Wars, which is the bad big one.
Okay.
Your friend is trapped and in pain, but not in danger. What do you do?
Turns out I'm a green lightsaber. That evening we went back to Watermark Church and went to something called the Porch. It's a service for young adults, but they also have a podcast version. I thought it would be fitting to wrap up this vlog with one of Bridget's bedtime blessings.
What we need most is a steady stream of love flowing among us. Love that quickly forgives and willingly overlooks and refuses to take offense. And underneath it says, Beloved, if God so loved us, we also ought to love one another. 1 John 4:11.
Love you, Kaylee!
I want to end this vlog by thanking Debbie and Bill for opening their home. And I want to thank all of my friends who came to Texas. You all have cared for me and supported me in a transitional point of my life, and you're an answer to prayer more than you know. You made a difficult time in my life seamless, and you've given me a great vantage point to go off of as I go into the future.